There's something strangely intriguing about disappearing for a long period of time and then coming back almost unrecognizable. It's one of the oldest transformation arcs that exists, and it almost always follows the same path. Bruce Wayne disappears for years, mastering his mind, his body, before returning to Gotham as someone completely different. First, you become dissatisfied with who you are. You realize that the life you're living and the person you're capable of becoming are two completely different things. So you withdraw. You stop needing to be everywhere, talking to everybody, constantly consuming what everyone else is doing. And suddenly, you have something that most people never have. Time to actually study yourself. So you start mastering yourself. Your mind, your body, your habits, your emotions. And once you start gaining control over yourself, you start building skills. You read obsessively, you write, you build, you study people who have already become who you want to become. Eventually, all that knowledge has to go somewhere, so you create something. A body of work, a business, an invention, a philosophy, a completely new life. And eventually, you return. You just need a season of your life where you stop trying to become seen and you become somebody worth seeing.
The version of you that has accepted the worst case scenario is the version of you that will succeed. You no longer look for certainty. You stop overanalyzing. You have no interest in trying to predict what may or may not happen. You are simply all in. And let me tell you, however large the odds are stacked against you, it simply does not matter. You're hesitant to quit your job and pursue your passion because you are fearful that it won't work out and you'll go broke. You are overthinking if you should go on that trip because you're not financially stable and you will have to face your responsibilities when you get back. You are unhappy in your relationship, but you settle because you're scared of being alone after so long. Let me ask you a question. If there is discomfort in both the safe option and the bold one, why settle for less than what you deserve? Pick your hurt, because it is a prerequisite for a good life. Your success is not a question of if, but a matter of will. So embrace the unknown, unless you'd like to be haunted for the rest of your life, not knowing what you missed out on.
Many people have a constant plan for setting, rearranging, evaluating, and strengthening the purpose of their goals. The answer is very few. In fact, if you will do this, you will become among the few who do, that become the envy of all who watch.
The more you commit yourself to becoming the best person you can be, the more you like yourself and respect yourself, the more energy you have, the bigger goals you set for yourself, the more you persist. When you invest in yourself and you read and learn and upgrade your skills, you're telling yourself, wow, I am a person with a great future, and it's up to me to maximize my potential. And your self-esteem goes up, your self-respect goes up, your sense of personal pride goes up.
Feel like you've been drudging through the process and you feel tired and you feel weary and you feel like you want to give up and everything feels like it's working against you, then I'm telling you right now, that is a direct indicator that your breakthrough is so unbelievably close and you need to stay persistent. I understand that things are difficult, but you just need to keep this momentum, because I'm telling you right now, this is the final phase. This is the final step. This is the final challenge from the creator of the universe to see how committed that you are. And if you just stick with the process and you keep on pushing, then I'm telling you with every fiber in my body that your breakthrough is right around the corner and your life is genuinely going to change forever. And the only rule is that you are not allowed to give up. If you stop, you are guaranteed to suffer forever. But if you just push for just one more day, then your life is genuinely going to change for the better.
I'd watch out for a man who's sick of himself. Because when he reaches that point, it goes one of two ways. He either throws in the towel, or gets so tired of his own bullshit he changes everything. And that second man is dangerous. Because he's not looking for motivation. He doesn't need it. And he's not waiting on anybody to believe in him, because frankly, no one does. See, he's changing because that's the only way his life is livable. And when you got nothing left to lose, it's hard not to win.
Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. You just got to quit tripping while you're in the process.
Tonight, the question I ask you is what things in your life are you going to give a funeral to? What things in your life have to die? What things in your life have been keeping you from seeing the greatest version of yourself? Have been keeping you from knowing your worth? Have been keeping you from seeing how special you are?
players who implement strategies that get focused and intense, they win decades. They win multiple championships. You gotta win year after year after year.
And once you understand that you can always make a different choice and get a different reaction, and that's the power in your life, that's the power that you have, is no matter what's going on, you can choose to think differently, believe differently, see differently. All of those things are a choice. You have a why, you can survive almost any how.
Once you begin to discover who you are, then you really realize how you have been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth, including all the dimensions of your life. But you can only do that through the struggle of life. You got to blow your bubble up, expand yourself, take yourself out your comfort zone. Do not live in your bubble. Put some more air in your bubble. If you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you will fail.
Here's the problem I find most people have. They judge themselves through the lens of a moment. They fail at something. They miss. They embarrass themselves. They flub something. And they think that defines who they are. But I'm telling you right now, you're not defined by who you are. You're defined by who you want to become and the price you're willing to pay to get there.
And most people avoid the struggle. Most people go through life avoiding pain. And when you go through life like that, something in you dies. You will fail in your comfort zone. Success is not a comfortable procedure.
Don't have time to regret. We move on, because we are acceptable for what we are, not what we think we should be. I'm accepted in myself by what I am, but not as I think I should be, because that's a lie.
There is a you inside of you, I promise you, that you haven't even met yet. There is a you inside of you that is beyond anything that you can understand.
Now, like I was telling you before, if you want to be ordinary, you ain't even got to listen to me. Just go about your business. If you think ordinary is cool, ain't no problem. It's some really, really wonderful ordinary people. But if you are sitting in this room and you have extraordinary aspirations, then you're gonna have to do extra.
You can use your sense of meaning to calibrate your progress through life. But there's rules. You have to aim at the highest possible good that you can conceive. Start by aiming at the star you can see rather than the dimmer one that you can't yet perceive.
Something in you dies. Something in you that you never activate is lying dormant in there, that you never get a chance to call on because you have not challenged yourself.
We think about all the reasons why we can't be something. We see our impossibilities, and so I want to erase that mindset right now. No more excuses. The only impossibilities that exist are the ones that you create.
Question of what do you stand for? And I will say this, you're nothing if you're not the truth. Substance through your service, your offering of your whole self.
Change the chapters in the book of your life if you want to. There's a book being written about you, and if you can decide, you and God, or you and whatever you believe, you're the author. You can turn the page. It might be year 2, 3, 4 before you get your big win, but you could decide now, I'm gonna walk, talk, and be a different person.
You put extra on top of ordinary, and you come up with extraordinary. It's no other way. I'm sorry, but here's the fact. All of you have extraordinary capabilities. All of you.
Power to me is the ability to close your eyes and imagine a world, the world the way you wish it was, and then open your eyes and make that world come true.
There's a power in you that can enable you to be stronger and better than anything that's out here.
Here and now.
That's it. You want to improve? You want to get better? You want to get on a workout program or a clean diet? You want to start a business? Where do you start? You start right here.
You're the captain, you're the master, you're the foreman, you're the general, you're the head. Don't give control of this to nobody. You can protect yourself from negativity. And that's what stops most people, negative thoughts. You can coat your mind from negativity.
Pick up your damn suffering and bear it. And try to be a good person so you don't make it worse.
The question I want to ask you right now, as we talk about becoming the greatest you, is what's going to be your reason? What's the reason when hard times hit your life, you keep going? What's the reason when everybody calls you stupid for believing in big dreams that you're going to ignore those opinions and keep going to achieve more in your life?
That you were made to do something great with your life, weren't you? And you've always known it. There's always been this little voice in your head, since you were a little boy or a little girl, you've always known there was something special about you. You weren't born to be average. You weren't born to have a mediocre existence on this earth. You were born to do something great.
See, we don't have the courage, and that's what it takes, courage. It takes guts to do that what you know you need to do. If you don't have the courage to act, life many times will move on you and make you out. You will be so miserable, you will get so much hell, you say, yes, I will do it.
You start right now. You initiate the action aggressively. You go. Because the idea isn't going to execute itself. And the book isn't going to write itself. And the weights out in the gym, they're not going to move themselves. You have to do it, and you have to do it now.
Chasing down the person you were born to be, that you were destined to be. And since that day started, the world, the people around you, are trying to get you to conform to average.
So don't let this season take your life. You can win this fight. If it wasn't for my darkest storms, I would have never found the strength to shine my light. There's a purpose greater than your pain. There's no growth without rain. Sometimes it takes your hardest storms to birth your greatest change. Your life is not finished. You keep living. It doesn't matter what happened in your past, you're just a choice away from a new beginning.
Your better future is a dream for yourself and for your family. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you want to see? Without dreams and visions, people perish. You've got to have something to go for that inspires the heart and the soul.
We're trying to get you off that track to finally meet your twin someday, the best possible version of you. Every single day has to be a pursuit to get better, to improve, to grow, to stretch.
How do you overcome the suffering of life? Is be a better person. That's how you do it. Well, that's hard. It takes responsibility. And I think, if you said to someone, you want to have a meaningful life? Everything you do matters. That's the definition of a meaningful life. But everything you do matters. You're going to have to carry that with you.
Why do most people fail? Got it locked? The answer is they never start. Now, the reason that most people never start is because they don't think that they're going to get a result. I'm too stupid. I'm not good enough. The hard thing is taking the first step. Everything else is just persistence.
Inspiration is not enough. Your dream, some of y'all want to hear this, it's not enough. Motivation is not enough. Information is not enough. It comes down to application. Application creates transformation. So you can hear it, you can read it, but if you don't apply it, nothing will change in your life.
And that means you gotta stop thinking about it and stop dreaming about it and stop researching every aspect of it and reading all about it and debating the pros and cons of it. Just start doing it.
Because it's decisions we make to chase that best version of us every second, every day, that every day alters the direction of the course of our life. We've all made decisions that we regret. That decision took me off course. That decision took me further away of being the best life I could have, the best version of me.
Next step, ask yourself, what's blocking you? What's preventing you from acting? Why don't you have the courage to handle that? Why won't you face that? What are you running away from? What kind of avoidance behavior are you engaged in? Next is, what is the worst thing that can happen when you take action?
It is impossible to live without failing at something, unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you fail by default.
Take that first step and make it happen. Get after it. And get after it here and now.
Dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency.
Who do you know that you can compare yourself to? That's easy. You. Yesterday. So here's a good goal. It's something like, well, aim high. And I really mean that. Aim high, but use as your control yourself. It's like, so your goal is to make today some tiny increment better than yesterday. Incremental improvement is unstoppable.
I continue to fail. I love failure. The indomitable will, if you have a belief you can do something, the only way you grow that, like in the gym, you grow your muscles by actually exercising. You know, you grow the love of you and your wife by caring for them and having their back. To grow the individual will to become something, you must get comfortable with fear and failure. They must be your best friends. They're the only one that moves that needle of life. Why is that? Because it's a report card back on your shortcomings.
On why they're not living their dream, on why they're not manifesting their greatness. They will always be able to point those things out, but none of those things count. The only thing that counts are results, and results don't lie, ladies and gentlemen. They tell it all. Judge a tree by the fruit that it bears, not the ones that it might talk about, not the ones that it might wish for, or think about, or affirm about, but the fruit that it actually bears.
Work on your focus. Work on your focus. Perspective is everything. Let me tell you something. The problem with most of you is that you see difficult as something negative. For real. And I want you to see difficult differently. Well, listen to me. The more you go through, the more difficult it is, the more challenging it is. Listen to me, the harder it is. Are you hearing me? The more challenging it is, all you're doing, baby, is building muscle.
So let us look. I think that all of us are committed. But I think that some of us are producing results in our lives that level of commitment brings that we particularly don't like or find distasteful. I don't think that as a participant in life, you cannot be committed. You're either committed to mediocrity or you're committed to greatness.
The goal should be, how could I conceive of my life so that if I had that life, it would clearly be worth living, so I wouldn't have to be bitter, resentful, deceitful, arrogant, and vengeful.
hard work works. So don't quit, don't give up, don't stare at them. Listen to me, you don't get bumped by staring at weights. You don't get bumped look, you don't get healthier by staring at it. You get healthier by running up to it and grabbing it and pushing it. Look, push through that stuff. Push through it. You can get through it. He said he won't put on you more than you can bear. You can get through it.
Safety, comfort zones are dead zones because your true potential will never be matched, guys. Will never be matched. You have to continue to push yourself.
I'm gonna make a difference in the world, and you don't believe it, but say it 1,000,000 times, you're gonna end up believing it. I'm meant to do something special in my life. There's no way in the world God put me on this planet to just be a regular guy. No way. The blood in here is boiling. I want to do something big with my life. This guy was put on this planet to make a difference. Say it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Convince everybody in the world. The entire time you're just trying to convince one person, and that is you.
You must break society's status quo. Status quo is normality.
You're either committed to being productive or you're committed to being non-productive. You're committed to being happy or you're committed to being unhappy. See, whatever you're doing, however you spend your time, that tells you who you are. So think about what it is you like to create in your life experience.
Winning is in all of us. We all want to win. But the path people take to get to winning, everybody wants the end result and they want to feel the sugar and the confetti and all that other stuff. But what you have to endure to win, no one wants to talk about. And that's what really winning is about, because you spend more time enduring it and being in and not in a good place. And I wanted to bring it out and say, hey, no matter what you do in life, where you're at, this is what winning takes. And it's in all of us.
And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up.
You decided there's something you wanted so bad that you unleashed all your desire. You became obsessed with it. If it was a business or a relationship or a transformation in your body, if there's something you once envisioned and now it's real, it's because you didn't just envision it, you brought so much emotion to it that now it's in your life. It was once a dream, it was once a goal, and now it's in your life.
It's alive but not living. It's death on a stick, guys. The belief of the individual can overcome thousands of followers. One person with a belief overrides thousands of people with just intent.
To do all we can right now, where we are. Forget about the mistakes yesterday. Forget about all your failures yesterday. Forget about what you don't have. That's not important. Only thing that we have is right now.
The difference between a champion and someone who's forgotten is that a champion shows up.
Do great things while they are still small. The sage does not attempt anything very big and thus achieves greatness. Greatness comes from being in the moment, here, present, in the now. The sage confronts difficulties, but never experiences them. This is the idea of thinking small. And finally, I'd like to see you change from this thought. Change from seeing yourself as separate to seeing yourself as connected to everyone and everything in the universe.
You cannot change your life unless you go inside first, you figure out who you are, what your own wisdom is telling you to do, and you start to actually believe it and follow it.
You can't always look for other people to help you. Other people got their own problems. They got their own they got to deal with. They're trying to achieve their own goals. But after a while, it's on you. Your failure and your success is on you.
Once you believe that you can get good at something, that you can get great, that you can even become extraordinary through an inhuman amount of effort, then you'll take the steps. Why? Because you know your efforts will be rewarded with results. That is the most important thing for you to believe, that your energies are going to be rewarded, because then you'll move forward.
The choices that you make day to day have this profound and lasting effect on the structure of reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't give your power away. You don't need anybody to approve your dream. It was given to you. If they can't see it, it's because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. Hold it, nourish it, cultivate it, work on it. It's yours, it's your baby. Work on it until it comes into fruition.
Learn all this stuff. You can digest all the tactics and information that I give out, but if you're not willing to do one more, eventually there's a part of you that says, maybe I don't deserve it. I'm just doing what everybody else is doing, and that's not good enough. It's not even good enough to do more than everybody else. It's your maxed out level. It's one more of everything.
So we have to find a way to construct a narrative about ourselves that empowers us, that lifts us up, even though we make mistakes, even though we fall down, even though we're never going to get things right all the time, and even though terrible things happen to us, or maybe we do terrible things. But in that, the erosion of the self, that's the dangers.
So I'm always going to do extra. And you accept the fact that all things break down over time. All the barriers will go away. All the obstacles will go away. Everything in your way will go away if you keep after it over an extended period of time.
As you go toward your goals and your dreams, spring forth with a mighty face to write the book that ought to be written by you, to help the people that ought to be helped by you, to make the difference in our society that ought to be made by you.
Quitting guarantees the failure. Once you quit, it rules out any chance of succeeding. The mere waking up every day, putting the next foot in front of the next foot, at least keeps you in the game.
That no one's coming. It's up to you. You're not a kid anymore. I'm dead serious about this. Like so many of you are waiting to be picked. By who? Are you making the most of your life?
Get good enough to have the life that I want, my ideal life. But I'm gonna get good enough. And from that, I plant a very unreasonable belief inside my soul, which is I can have any life I want. And now I just need to write out exactly what that is. I've handcrafted the life that I desire. And I know the realities of who I am and what needs to be true in order for me to move well through the world. Have tomorrow be wildly different than today.
Somebody said, the land of familiarity belongs to the dead. That most people like to feel like they're a king in the area of their comfort zone. They only want to do those things that they know how to do well. Osborne said, unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. So if you want to begin to grow, you've got to put something out here that you can't reach easily, that has got to make you stretch.
Everyone's going to hit adversity. It's how you deal with that adversity. And the key word is you, not letting somebody else deal with that adversity. Are you going to fight through it, or are you going to curl up and just roll over in the corner?
Here's what I'm here to remind you of today. You got to stick around long enough for the candy to come out. You got to wait for the candy to come out of that piñata called your life, called your business, called your body, called your relationships. The vast majority of people in life don't stick around for the candy because they think as they're hitting the piñata of their life, they don't think they're making progress. It doesn't feel like progress. But I'm telling you, the number one ability is availability. And if you keep swinging away every day, even though it doesn't feel like it, you are getting closer to the candy.
There's some things about life that defies logic. You've got to learn how to walk by faith and not by sight.
You know, everyone has their disabilities, let's say, and I know that some people are far more terribly affected than other people. But the question is, what do you do about that? And what you do is you set yourself up on your damn crutches and you struggle up the bloody hill. That's what you do. And you struggle up the hill towards the kingdom of God. That's what you do. Because the alternative is to descend into the abyss. That's the alternative. And then so to say, well, do you believe? It's like, I believe that you should struggle uphill towards the city of God on your crutches. That's what you should do. That's the opposite of the descent into the abyss. And so that's at the foundation of our civilization, that idea. Argue with it if you will. See if you can figure out why that's not an acceptable idea. Maybe you should help someone struggle up the hill. Perhaps you should. You know, you can lend a hand to someone, although you don't want to take the burden away from them entirely, because there's something noble about struggling up the damn hill, right? There's something, that's adventure. That's the call to proper being. It's like, well, we don't need to forget this.
No one's coming back to help you. So it starts with that person in that mirror. You have to realize you are on your own now. I don't care what you believe in, but on earth, it's a very lonely journey.
The price for a full life is mistakes. Mistakes are the price for a full life that you have to pay if you learn from them. I believe that hell wants to maim you and mock you with your mistakes. But heaven wants to make you and transform you by your mistakes. Failure should not become a prison house where you're held hostage the rest of your life by your mistakes. That's not God's voice. That's not God's will. That's not God's plan for you. And I'm not naive.
And you don't take pride in what you do. But the thing about loving the process, everybody wants to prize, but nobody loves the process. Everybody wants to be a champion, but nobody's willing to put in the work that it takes to be a champion. Everybody wants to hold up the trophy and say, man, I did it, but nobody's willing to put in the work that it takes to do it. I love the process. I love the thought of working for what I want. And I firmly believe you're never supposed to wish for it more than you're willing to work for it.
So sometimes to really find the root of who you are, you must go back generations and find out if you're following the same curses. That's what pain is. Pain is a repetition of the cycle. Walking by faith. That's walking by sight. If I can see it, I'll do it. No. That's a lot of people say, if I can see it, I'll believe it. No. If you believe it, you can see it. But don't be disturbed because no one else can see it. That's not unusual. That is ordinary. But because you want some different kind of results in your life, you've got to be willing to be unreasonable.
But a lot of people, they wish, and they're not willing to work. And the great thing about life has a funny way of testing all of us and seeing how bad we really want what it is that we say we want. But life is going to hit you with a certain level of opposition. Life is going to hit you with a certain level of adversity. And life is going to say to you, you said you wanted it, now let's see how bad you really want it. want one thing from you. As great as you are, as skilled as you are, as talented as you are, I just want one thing from you. Never allow life to make you forget why you do what you do.
You have to find a dream that's so big that it overwhelms all of your fears and causes you to never give up. And you're gonna think about quitting no matter what you do. And I've thought about it many times.
Until you learn how to figure it out, until you learn how to tap it on the back and say, I know you there, but I'm built to deal with you. I don't want nobody to leave here today and not understand why we must find a way to push through pain to understand that's on the other side of that is good.
And it starts with the accountability mirror, looking and saying, hey, all these things are coming back. I have to face myself. And you have to own all those things that people may have done to you. Now it's yours. You got to own it. It's yours now to fix the problems that people did to you. It makes no sense. It's not fair. I get it. But if you live in that woe is me mentality of guess what? My dad did this to me. My mom just did to me. People who bullied did this to me. You're going to always live right there. You have to figure out ways to move forward because you're not coming back.
People don't burn out, people don't quit, people don't underachieve, people don't settle because of what they do. People burn out, people quit, people underachieve, and people settle because life makes them forget why they do it. If we respect it the way we say we respect it, if we love it the way we say we love it, if we cherish it the way we say we cherish it, every single day should be nothing less than Exodus. You might not always be your best, but you can always bring me your best.
Not happiness. Forget about that. If it comes, well, great. Accept it. Dignity, nobility, character, truth, responsibility, beauty. Those are the things to aim for.
The road to life is straight and narrow, and few there be that find it, because few there be that are willing to do the things today others won't do, in order to have the things tomorrow others won't have.
When it all boils down to what it is, mano a mano. And if you ain't got more heart than me, if you ain't been working harder than me, if you ain't sacrificed more than me, I'm gonna destroy you. And I'm not retreating. I'm not running. I don't care what they say on paper. We live by this and we die by this. We don't retreat. We don't run. Every man must search his own soul. You don't judge a person by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge them by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. And if you ain't work, like when you work for something, it gives you a different type of attachment to it. The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. That's why cats can give up so easy. They ain't got nothing invested. Like when a cat been sacrificed for something, well, you gonna have a cold day in hell before you take it from them.
Whatever happened last week happened last week. Whatever happened last year, your girlfriend dumped you. You gotta get up, look at the man in the mirror and go, this is what I'm doing today, whether they like it or not. I don't give a f. Everybody's focusing on the stupidity things that they got on the news. Don't watch the news no more. I give you the real news. You know what the news is about today? You, and how you're gonna conquer the world. How do you become a king? By taking it to the next fucking level. By doing something outside your comfort zone.
There is a difference between passion and obsession. When you're passionate, everybody cheers you on. They're stoked for you. Oh, you found your passion? Awesome. Follow your passion. Live with passion. Be passionate. Chase your passion. When you're obsessed, they're like, why you gotta be so crazy? Why do you always gotta get things so perfect? Why do you spend so much time here? When you're obsessed, people think you're nuts. If no one thinks you're crazy, you're not yet operating to the outer limits of your imagination.
If it's hard, why do people do it? You ask people who do things, people who climb mountains just for the sake of it. Nobody paying them to do it, just do it.
The people who go after their stuff, what makes it worth it? It's got to be your passion. You got to love it. It's got to be what you are supposed to do. You got to write, even if no one published your book, write, because that was given to you to do. You do what it is you're supposed to. You're supposed to build something. You're supposed to create something. I don't know how to do it. Learn. Do whatever is required. It's you, it's on you. You got to make that happen. Nobody's going to bring it to you on a silver platter and say, here's your dream manifested. No, it's hard. Yes, it's hard. It's difficult. Yes, right? And it's worth it.
I don't know what your future is, but if you're willing to take the harder way, the more complicated one, the one with more failures at first than successes, the one that has ultimately proven to have more meaning, more victory, more glory, then you will not regret it. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
That when you're trying to avoid the pain, when you're trying to avoid the struggle, when you're trying to avoid the hard things in life, you are actively choosing to be average. You are actively choosing to be mediocre. And you are actively choosing to move further away from what you want in life. Because that hardship and that pain and that struggle and that frustration, they give you the skills that will forge you into a champion.
When you quit, your mind does this. When you quit, your mind says, we're done. So it doesn't expand. There's no expansion when you quit. When you say, F you, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. What happens to your mind is it does this. It says, he's not leaving. So we gotta expand. We gotta grow. We gotta figure this fucking thing out. So then these compartments in your brain, they have to work. And then you start to engage parts of your mind that you never engaged before. When you're in suffer mode and you say, I'm not gonna quit. You're forcing your brain now to operate on a level it's not used to, but then it becomes used to it.
Your biggest enemy is you. People don't understand it's you against you. The only person that gets in your way is you. Nobody else. It's you.
You get one shot at this gig right here. Life. One life. That's all you've got. And regret, in and of itself, it's worthless. It does nothing for you. In fact, the only valuable thing in regret is the lesson you learned, the knowledge that you gained. But walking around filled with regret gets you nothing. So, learn and move on. Don't let regret beat you down. Don't be a slave to regret. Let it teach you. Let it make you better.
I want you to stop thinking of things in terms of sacrifice. And I want you to start thinking in terms of investment. All right? One of the biggest mistakes that you will make as a human on a path to success, whether that success be financially, physically, spiritually, whatever it is, or success in all areas. And I want you to understand that when you miss the weekends with the guys, or miss the night out with the girls, or you pass on the trip, or you do this, you're not sacrificing anything. You're actually making an investment, because the investment is delayed gratification, and you just haven't seen the payoff
You don't have to force yourself or motivate yourself to think negatively, to be depressed, to beat yourself up over the head. Your mind is on automatic. It will do that by itself. But if you want to begin to move into your own personal greatness, if you want to begin to really enjoy a happy, successful, healthy life, you've got to be willing to go against the tide. You've got to be willing to harness your will and say, in spite of this, I'm in control here. I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let this destroy me.
Let the fear of regret fuel you to take action today, now. To take action now to become a better person, not filled with regret, but filled with knowledge. Filled with knowledge and strength and power and filled with life.
The easy route never pays well. The only route in life that pays well is the hard route, the struggle, the pain, the frustration, and the overcoming of those things. And not only do they pay, they fulfill you as well.
I want to ask you a question, and that is, what is in your life's blueprint? Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anybody to make you feel that you are nobody.
Surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you coming. Slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be, and the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next, so keep climbing.
The thing that's so interesting about being alive is that you're all in. No matter what you do, you're all in. This is gonna kill you. So I think you might as well play the most magnificent game you can while you're waiting. Because do you have anything better to do? Why not pick the best thing possible that you could do? Because you're more powerful than you think. Way more powerful than you think. How much good could you do? Well, I would say, why don't you find out?
If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving.
We all fail. It's okay. What is not okay is that when you fail, you stay down. And winners will fail and get up. Fail and get up. You always get up. That is a winner.
A lot of folk won't let you forget what you used to do or what you have done, what mistakes you've made. All of us have made some mistakes in life. All of us have done some things that if we had them to do over again, we wouldn't do it again. A lot of things that if I had it to do over again, if I knew then what I know now, I would have done it differently. Well, it didn't happen that way. Oh, you don't want me to live that down. You want to keep on putting that in my face about what I did. Guess what? I'm not interested. That's what I did then. Won't do it today.
Here's what you should know about winning before you chase it. Winning's not loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Winning doesn't care how hard you work at times. Winning requires all of you and then more, and it promises you nothing. It's a mastermind of creating fear and doubt in your mind. It causes setback after setback. So the question is about winning. Are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? And why chase this thing called winning? Because the only thing that's guaranteed in life, if you don't chase it, is losing.
Don't give up. Don't let the world get you down. When it does get you down, get up and write what you want out of your life and don't f***ing stop. You know what I'm saying? You get up every day, you look in the mirror and you tell that mirror, I'm a bad man. And one way or another, I'm gonna make it happen today. Guess what? If you keep writing it down, after a while, the power of the pen, you'll believe it. Whatever happened last week, buried under the carpet. Just remember, you gotta check on your skeletons from time to time. Or if not, they check on you. You follow me?
Every single one of you who is struggling right now, you need to understand this. What you're going through right now is necessary. It's necessary because what's happening right now is you are forging skills. You are forging the determination. You are forging the grit. You are forging the fortitude. You are forging all the things that nobody else is gaining because they're sitting on their hands and you're willing to push through. This fire you're feeling, this frustration you're feeling, this is what is going to make you into the weapon that you are going to become that will then build the life that you are out to build.
You know what? I came to realize it's that fear that's the worst of it. That's the real enemy. So, get up. Get out of the real world. And you kick that as hard as you can, right in the teeth. Every day. This isn't a part-time gig. This isn't punch the clock and go home for the day. You don't get weekends off. No. Here, there's no such thing as a weekend. This is an everyday gig. Every day is a Monday, and you might not like that. To me, every day is a beginning, a new day, a new week, a new shot at life. An opportunity to come out of the gate like a man possessed and attack the day without mercy.
You're going to be deciding as the days and the years unfold what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. Once you discover what it will be, set out to do it, and to do it well. Doors are opening to each of you. Doors of opportunity are opening to each of you that were not open to your mothers and to your fathers. And the great challenge facing you is to be ready to enter these doors as they open. And when you discover what you're going to be in life, set out to do it as if God Almighty called you at this particular moment in history to do it. Set out to do a good job and do that job so well that the living, the dead, or the unborn couldn't do it any better.
The greatest test that anything can withstand is time. Just give it time. It'll reveal itself.
Setbacks, problems, adversity, opposition, challenges are expected but never permanent. Like, I want you to pick up what I'm telling you, man. Setbacks, adversity, opposition, challenges, problems, it's to be expected.
When you're trying to do something hard, what your brain does is give you something else hard to do that's not quite as hard, so that you can feel justified in not doing the thing you're supposed to because you're doing something else useful. And if you give in to that temptation, which you often will, then it wins, and because it wins, it gets a little dopamine kick and it grows stronger. Anything you let win, the internal argument, grows.
How can you beat someone who cannot fucking quit? How can you beat someone who every time they go through a hard time, they get better and they get stronger instead of getting weaker and getting demoralized?
Like, we all gonna go through something. Like, I love the quote that say, We all got problems. What makes us different is how we solve them. It's expected, but never permanent.
You always have to be the person who roots for you before everybody else does.
One day you'll wake up and realize the potential you had, knowing you've chosen comfort over effort.
Fear is overcome. Hesitation is overcome. It's not overcome by motivation. It's overcome by discipline. I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm nervous, I'm hesitant, I'm not sure if I want to do this, I'm second guessing. All those little things, they're just overridden by one thing and one thing only, discipline. And that's what it's going to take. That is the discipline.
When he lost courage, he would recite it, and it would give him what he needed to keep going. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I think whatever God there may be for my uncomfortable soul, the fell collective circumstance, I have not cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of fate, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the shadow of the shade. Yet the minister of the years finds and shall find me, unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate and how punishment charges the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
What got me to this point was I was just the opposite of what I am today. I was that guy who ran away from absolutely everything that got in front of me.
What pain have you gone through that has turned into suffering? It's the relationship where someone's unfaithful and you end a relationship that you thought was great. That is painful. But suffering is 3 years down the road and still saying, can't trust a man, can't trust a woman. It's the same thing when it comes to money. It's the same thing when it comes to business. What pain have you experienced in your past that you didn't process, that you didn't learn from, and now it's just this suffering mechanism that wakes you up, keeps you thinking, is when you're alone in your thoughts, it pops up. It's like, hey, suffering here, let's spend some time together. It's like, no, screw you, I learned from that. I'm no longer suffering. Declare today, decide today that suffering will end. Pain is a part of our life. The more pain you have, that means the bigger you're playing the game. Or we don't have to suffer. You have a choice.
Things are hard in life because this is the way that your soul evolves and grows. Think of it like a weight room. When I lift weights, and I lift weight that's easy for me, I'm not going to make any growth in my muscle. There won't. But when I start to lift things that are heavy, that are difficult, there's a lot of resistance. That's going to create tears in my muscle that eventually will start to grow back and it will develop muscle. I will increase my strength. Life is the same thing. The weight room is a microcosm of life. So I have to go through hard things. I have to go through things that put me under tension, that make me uncomfortable, that create resistance to ensure that my mind, that my soul will continue to evolve and grow. But just like with lifting weights, if it gets hard and I drop it, I let it down, I'm not going to get out of it what I could have gotten out of it. So instead, when times get hard, there may be times that you have to take a break, but do not give up.
It doesn't get any easier. Wins don't come easy. Wins are earned. The score matters. We live in the world where everybody thinks of, hey, showing up is half the battle. No, showing up is none of the battle. It's none of the battle. If showing up is half the battle, you're so far away from winning and being limitless, you're never even going to get there.
So I know it might not seem this way, but life is so much more exciting when you're disciplined and working towards something. It doesn't have to be some huge life goal. It's anything that just gets you out of bed in the morning. Something that gives you a reason to want to chase each day. Because it feels good to improve, man. There's fucking purpose for a change. I don't know you, I don't know your current situation, but I do know if you constantly feel lost and unmotivated in your life, it's because you haven't been in motion, and objects at rest stay at rest.
The problem isn't that it's hard. The problem isn't that you're scared. The problem isn't that you want to give up. The problem is you thinking it's not supposed to be like this, because it is. These obstacles are the tests you must pass to become the person you want to be. They were in the terms and conditions you didn't know you signed when you started chasing this dream of yours. So embrace the struggle, smile at the pain, because one day you'll look back on this time as the good old days.
The differential between the people that are achieving in life and don't achieve in life isn't really the potential, what they're born with, their gifts, or anything else. It's their perseverance, always showing up, always giving themselves a chance. Getting out of bed, coming here in the morning, going for it, when everyone else is sleeping. Put yourself in the opportunity to get that break, but give yourself a chance. At the end of the day, that's all you want to do. But the more you feel against the wall, something will eventually stick.
I just wanted to be a better version of myself, and I kept looking in the mirror and envisioning what I could look like. As long as you're alive and you're strong and you can keep pushing and you stay motivated and disciplined and you just stick to the grind. And most importantly, you have a plan. As long as you work, you get there one day. Because something that everyone lacks nowadays is just having the consistency and the will to stay on the path, you know?
It's not what you do, it's who you are.
Yeah.
It's not what's gonna get you there, it's what's gonna keep you there. Do what's right, not what's easy. You know what I'm saying? It's not what you do, it's who you are. Like how you operate, how you treat people, how you do things. It's not what you do, it's who you are, right? It's not what got you there, it's what's gonna keep you there. Do what's right, not what's easy, right? Just how you live your life. It's certain people that live life a certain type of way. It's certain people that do things a certain type of way.
If you risk nothing, you risk everything. Risk is scary, but regret is terrifying. The safe harbor of success is an illusion. In life, your rewards rarely exceed your risks. Results, respect, resilience are all on the other side of risk. Be bold in the face of your fear. Never abandon. Take risks and take what's yours.
You only got one life, guys. Again, if you work it right, you only need one. You give it all you have, you're gonna get max potential back. And then who knows what can come. That's the beautiful thing. If you don't show up, guys, you know the outcome. You'll never get the job, never get the part, never get the girl if you don't show up. If you show up, you're putting yourself in a situation to create those opportunities.
Failures are a prerequisite to who we want to become. I cannot stress that enough. So sometimes something that seems to be a negative thing, seems to be a bad thing that is happening to us, or even a season of dormant, or even a season where we have to sit back and start to recalibrate, recoil the spring, so to speak, reconfigure where we're at. Sometimes that's right where we need to be.
What's the biggest irrational fear that you have besides being unsuccessful? I guess not being enough. Imagine for a second a world in which you are unanimously adored by millions, but you hate yourself. Are you happy? Every man just wants to hear, I know you can be more, but you are enough already. Admit it, you aren't like them. You're not even close. But it seems that the more you try to fit in, the more you feel like an outsider. People who are so afraid of being broken by their feelings that they never let themselves be shaped by them. Not being good enough. And I don't know who for. I don't know who I am scared of not being good enough for or enough for. The sense that you always need to prove yourself, you always need to sort of offer the world something in order for it to love you back. And now imagine a world where you're disliked by everybody, but you love yourself. I propose that self-love you would be happier. You're going to be great, but you don't need to be great. And even if you just stay where you are, I'll be right here next to you. We are all chasing a sense of completion, but we never actually allow ourselves to savor any tastes of completion that we get along the way. Alan Watts has got this idea: if we are unduly absorbed in improving our lives, we may forget altogether to live them. The common feeling that your life has not yet begun, that your present reality is a mere prelude to some idyllic future, this idyll is a mirage that'll fade as you approach, revealing that the prelude you rushed through was in fact the one to your death. And this is the uncomfortable truth. As we get older, days move quickly because we can't remember them. And we don't remember our days because we haven't done anything memorable with them. Our days are forgettable, therefore we forget them. Monotony is the enemy of a well-remembered life. So, in order to slow time down, you have to give your brain a reason to pay attention. Leading a full life means having lots of varied experiences that will later be memorable. This means you need to start saying yes to more new things and no to more of the same things. Saying yes will guarantee that you create some novel and potentially intense memories. Sure, it might be easier to stay on the couch instead of going out, but you know that you won't recall a single thing if you spend yet another night watching Netflix, whereas you will have tons of memories if you go and do something new. Allow yourself to be immersed in the things that you spend your time doing. Regularly plan new experiences, talk to different people, say yes to adventures whenever you can, walk the dog on a different route, visit a new town, eat at a fresh cafe. These are all memory investments that future you will be able to draw dividends from. Each day, you can ask yourself the question, what did I do today that will stand out in my memory? And the more that you can answer this question clearly, the slower your time will move. Eventually, you are going to be looking back on your life. The choice is between viewing a beautiful, varied art gallery stretching as far as the eye can see, or a gray, monotonous hallway peppered with the ghosts of TikTok dances and Netflix series. If you make your life memorable, you will remember it. You're doing this for you. And this is something I've only realized relatively recently, but after a certain level of material comfort, the only person that you need to do this thing for is you. Your conscience knows when you're being honest and when you're not. I think optimizing to make that person happy, that conscience happy, is a really good idea. You should basically be the person that your mum thinks you are, or the person that your younger self wanted as a role model. Brave, courageous, earnest, honest, virtuous, like on fire. There's this quote from the ancient Greeks that says, "Live as though all your ancestors were living again through you." We judge people based on how much life they can tolerate, how much feeling they can deal with and carry and enjoy. And that's something that we should all try and have more of in ourselves, being that person that your younger self wanted as a role model. Fear doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you trapped. Whatever you fear establishes the boundaries of your freedom. So if you're afraid of heights, you stay low. If you're afraid of people, you stay alone. And such a good asymmetry. You can think thoughts at 4,000 words a minute, and you tend to only get paralyzed by overthinking negative outcomes. You're not, I wish, these 4,000 words a minute, they're just all about great things that might happen in my life. Like that's not the way that it works. Affection is impossible. Roger Federer played 1,526 singles matches across his career. He won nearly 80% of them. But he won only 54% of all the points he played. 80% of matches won, and he only won 54% of every point he played, which means that even one of the greatest to ever do it lost nearly every other point. I think the lesson here is to treat every iteration like it matters and then let it go. Whether it's an unforced error or a perfect winner, it's still just 1 point. One failed relationship, one embarrassing interaction, one late wake-up time. It's still just 1 point. What matters most is how quickly you reset and where you finish in the end, not how you perform just now. And this is one of the best questions, I think, to ask yourself when faced with a decision, which is, what would you tomorrow want you today to do? And the reason it's so effective, I think, is it depersonalizes the decision, helps you treat yourself like a friend you're responsible for helping. It forces you to optimize for long-term thinking instead of immediate gratification. It reminds you that ultimately, decisions are not being made for you now. They're being made for you in 24 hours, and 24 days, and 24 months. Our decisions are investments that we make into our future. Optimizing to gratify your desires in the moment at the expense of the way that you will feel and the story you will tell yourself about yourself in the future is rarely a good deal, because you live with the story of your decisions for far longer than the impact of them. You need to be very, very careful about what you invest into that future story of you. An ode to people who don't believe in themselves. What comes first, belief or action? Do you need to believe that you can do a thing before you can do it? Fake it until you make it is one option, but incredibly hard if you're introspective and have low self-belief and high standards. So what about make it until you believe it? Here are some lessons that I've learned. You can believe you're not worthy of a thing and still attain it. You can be adamant that your efforts are going to go badly and still succeed. You can grip and grasp and fear and ruin the enjoyment and be totally unwarranted and things still go well. You can have no self-belief and show up anyway. You can want more for yourself without knowing exactly what that looks like. You can doubt the process, question your talent, be uncertain that you're making progress, disparage your accomplishments, permanently feel like you're not working hard enough no matter how hard you work, never give yourself a break, fail to fully feel gratitude, be terrified of never reaching your goals, and still end up in a place that your 20-year-old self could not imagine you'd ever get to. Self-belief is overrated. Generate evidence, says Ryan Holiday. Railing against how hard something is, or how much time it's taking up, or the difficulty, the fact that people around you don't believe you, or that no one's giving you the support that you want, or that you thought it wouldn't take this long. The fact that that is happening is par for the course. It is the price of doing business. It's the cost of entry for whatever the thing is that you're going about, because if it wasn't, it wouldn't be happening. And so much of the pain, as far as I can see, is you railing against the fact that there are difficulties. There are going to be problems continuously for the rest of time, and there will never be a day when you don't wake up and have to mediate or negotiate or cajole your way through something. Such things aren't meant to be easy is a nice little reminder. Don't be so worried about winning that you forget what winning is supposed to feel like. Is your presiding feeling when things go well one of happiness and satisfaction, or one of relief? Is it joy, or simply the abatement of fear? And after a while of winning, you realize that how you win is more important than if you win. How you feel during the event is more important than the outcome of the event. How the people who read your work are impacted is more important than how many people are impacted. You can't be so terrified of failing that even the act of winning is made miserable. Some advice on how to support men. Men want to aim high without feeling insufficient if they fall short. Men want their suffering to be recognized and appreciated without being pandered to or patronized and made to feel weak. Men want to believe they can be more without feeling like they're not already enough. Men want to be able to open up without being judged. Men want support without feeling broken. Men want to be loved for who they are, not for what they do. question that every guy has asked themselves is, how do I set lofty goals which drive me to fulfill my potential without feeling less than if I don't get there tomorrow? And the desire for self-love and high performance comes into conflict inside the mind of everyone. I think most men desire a mix of encouraged self-belief and understanding support. Inevitably, these two things come into conflict. Basically, every man just wants to hear, I know you can be more, but you are enough already. And even if you just stay where you are, I'll be right here next to you. You're going to be great, but you don't need to be great. And I'm with you no matter what. If you, as a person that's close to a man in his life, can say those two sentences to him, I wonder how few men have ever heard that. I know you can be more, but you are enough already. And even if you just stay where you are, I'll be right here next to you. If you find a girl who believes in your dreams more than you do, who makes you want to be a better man, who's willing to work alongside you to get there, and is grateful for whatever you have, just marry her. Your relationship should feel like home. It should feel like a house with a sturdy roof and strong foundations, and shit gets thrown at it all the time, and rain comes down, and there's weather, and there's heat, and there's cold. But inside of that house is the one safe refuge that you have. You can lose your job, status, your financial position can fall away, your health can break down, your friends can leave you, but you have this one safe place, and it's in another person. It's in them. And if you can't be yourself with that person, the entire house does not exist. Brené Brown has got this line, without vulnerability, there is no courage. If there's no uncertainty, no risk, no exposure, you're not being that brave because there's nothing on the line. We are so quick to praise suppression as strength. We call it control, we call it discipline, we pretend emotional detachment is a sign of maturity, but fully living your life means actually feeling what fucking happens, not just performing composure while something inside of you quietly breaks. Different symptoms from the same disease. People who are so afraid of being broken by their feelings that they never let themselves be shaped by them. The real fear isn't just the emotion itself, it's also what the emotion might not receive. We're not afraid of sadness. We're afraid of being sad in front of someone who shrugs. We're not afraid of grief. We're afraid of grieving and being judged for doing so. That's the abandonment we're trying to avoid. Even if we know that feeling our feelings is braver than denying them, the people around us still might think less of us for opening up. So we keep things hidden. Not because we want to, but because we don't want to feel alone in the sharing. Men, as far as I can see, have this harder still, as almost all definitions of masculinity have some version of emotional control as a core tenet, which makes feeling pride in showing emotions as a man even tougher. But you cannot connect with the world or anyone in it if you never truly show yourself. Intimacy only exists to the degree that you reveal yourself, your sadness, anger, joy, desires, boundaries. When you hide your flaws or your feelings out of fear of shame, you block intimacy and authenticity. The more that you expose, the closer you are. The less you show, the more distant you become. Which do you want to choose? Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's rebellion. It's not how little you feel that makes you strong. It's how much you can face and stay open. The world belongs to optimists, because if you're going to do anything big, you have to believe that it can happen. Otherwise, it never will. Sean Puri says the cynics get to be right and the optimists get to be rich. 99% right and 100% wrong. They're right 99% of the time, but they're wrong 100% because the only thing that matters is the big one at the end. Your family and friends will say that every girl you ever date is not good enough, except for the one time you find the girl that you're actually going to marry, or that this business idea won't work, and you might have 9 failures. My first 9 businesses didn't really amount to anything. 9, as in the first one, I spent time on it, it failed. Second one, this one will be different. Spent time on it, failed. And then the third one, this one, failed. And then 6 more after that. And it's painful as shit because the whole time everyone is telling you, I told you so. And they're right. Today, but not forever. Problems are a feature of life, not a bug. There will never come a time when you have no problems. What? Did you think that you would just wake up one day and you're going to cease having problems? Like completing a video game and leveling up to a map where there's nothing there? Would you pay the price back then for the insights and developments that you have now? If so, have faith that whatever stresses that you're facing right now will lead to a greater version of you in the future. The challenge that you're facing is a gift, and leaning into the discomfort as if you invited it through the door, saying thank you for the opportunity to learn and reflect because it's making you better. Whatever negativity is consuming your thoughts probably won't matter in 3 months' time. So you are sacrificing your joy and presence in the moment for a problem which you won't even be able to recall in the future. So immortality is literally the only life where such flippancy with the days that you're alive for is acceptable. Stop taking things so seriously. No one is getting out of this game alive, literally. In 3 generations, no one will even remember your name. And if that doesn't give you liberation to just drop your fucking problems and find some joy, I don't know what will. Life is inherently ridiculous and guaranteed to end sooner or later. So you might as well enjoy the ride.
Imagine you talk to the creator of the universe before birth and pick the person you get to become. You say, I want to be the most courageous. The creator replies and says, well, then I will give you monsters to terrify you so that you can conquer them. I want to be wise. And the creator replies, then I will give you failures that will crush your spirit so you can learn the value of judgment. You then say, sounds like a rough life. Can you give me a good life? Creator replies, just like we measure the quality of a blacksmith by the strength of his steel, I measure you by what you are at the end, not the fire and the hammer it took to make you. A good life isn't a life that's easy. A good life is a life that makes you into a good person. And that, my son, is a hard life.
The thing that people misunderstand about success is they're looking for the easiest way to get there. And everybody goes 5 easy steps, 10 steps to greatness, 8 steps to this. And those steps for success, they're infinite. You cannot count them. It doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. Those steps are constantly shifting. You don't know if they're there. Sometimes you have to trust that the next step is going to be there when you can't even see it. And sometimes when you step on that step, you go right into quicksand. But you got to be able to pull yourself back out of it again. And you just can't climb steps. Sometimes you gotta crawl those steps, and you finally get to the top, and everything shifts, and you're at the bottom again. And where you thought was the top is not even the top, it's the beginning. It's literally the beginning of where you're supposed to be. And that's when most people just quit.
But when you decide something is a must for you, an absolute must, when you cut off any possibility, you say, I'm gonna find the way, I'm gonna make the way. Human beings, when they resolve things, when they make a real resolution inside themselves, which is they raise the standard, they make it a must, they find the way. Think about it in your own life. Haven't you had some area of your life where you raised your standard and your life has never been the same? And then one day something happened. Something just clicked you over. Something took you over that kind of tipping point. And inside yourself, you said, no more. Something inside of you shifted. And what was a should became a must, and you've never gone back.
I can't. You can't? Are you fucking kidding me? You just said I can't?
And he said, you know, I already know what your biggest problem is. And it's like the limitations you're putting on yourself are self-imposed.
You got to answer that question after you take the first step. This is why I'm always pushing that limit, because I know that within pushing these limits, there's always more.
You're going to fall on your face over and over and over again. You're going to make mistakes. It's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you anxiety. You're not laying in bed at night staring at the ceiling with your heart pounding at 3 nights a week. You're probably not trying hard enough. Whatever the goal is, it has to be your goal. You cannot want a goal for someone else, and someone else cannot want a goal for you.
Commitment is major. See, when you decide that you're going to do something, when you commit yourself to live, you hold yourself to a higher standard. You're seeking something. You're pushing the envelope. You are challenging yourself. You are willing to walk by faith and not by sight. And you know, as a warrior, that there's a dramatic difference between being a warrior and being a worrier. Anybody can worry in life when you don't have enough courage, expanded vision, that you have outgrown a situation and it's time to move on. Life moves on you.
When they look in the mirror, they're just trying to see what's on the surface. But winning and losing wants to know what's inside of you. It wants to know what makes you tick. It wants to know what your desires are. It wants to know what your ego is. It wants to know what your limitations are. It wants to know what your mindset is. It wants to know everything about you, because winning does not lie. When you look in the mirror, you can lie and see what's on the surface. Cannot lie what's going on inside. And that's what people are not willing to see. The lies that are truly going on inside of them that are not allowing them to win over and over, sometimes even win once. You have to look, winning requires you to go so far deep inside yourself. It's way beyond the surface. It's way beyond internal. It's going to a place that a lot of people haven't visited in a long, long time, because they're afraid to visit that person, because when they visit that person, they don't know who that person is anymore.
They say the greatest achievement in somebody comes right after their worst defeat. When they've hit rock bottom, hit the bottom of the barrel, they got nothing left. Everyone's given up on them. They've lost all their worldly possessions. They're dead broke on their back. It's at that point, guys, when everything's lost, that everything can be gained. There's no more ego there, is there? They let go of, what if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't like, what if this person rejects me? The animosity, the pressures of society, they let it all go because they've lost it all. They're just now left with the intestinal fortitude, the pride within. Do I want to stay on the bottom of this barrel, or do I climb the out of this hole? And that is a spark of what it turns out to be their greatest moment, their greatest hour. We can live that way, guys. Imagine that you can live when you let go of the thought of failure.
Because if there's no way to go back, it's amazing what happens when it's a must to do something versus a should.
Pretend there's a documentary crew filming your success story, and they're following you around right now. What would you do? What would you do if you knew that there was a crew following you around with cameras documenting your future incredible success, and they want to catch you in the act of it all? You would do all the right things you would have to do. Think about that, organize it.
The man who loves walking will walk further than the man who loves the destination. When you love the journey, the goals just happen. You hit milestones as a side effect, because it doesn't matter. At that point, I don't care if I can lift this much weight or run this fast. I mean, that's cool, but I don't love it as much as I love the journey. I love the journey. What does the journey consist of? Sucking at something, failing, getting better, learning, start it over, do it again. When you fall in love with the journey, everything else takes care of itself.
Working on yourself, talking to yourself. That's so very important. Overcoming the negative conversation, that inner dialogue that's going on all the time, even when you don't want it to be there. You can't stop yourself right now from thinking. You can't do it. It's going on. And so learning how to empower yourself, part of doing that is standing up to yourself. You got to stand up inside yourself sometimes and say, shut up. You get scared sometimes. Your mind will go blank on you. Some people you will allow to unnerve you. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? I'm not crazy. That's why you got to learn to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to stand up inside yourself. Working on yourself, watching that inner dialogue, it will determine the quality of your life.
Losers let it happen. Winners make it happen. Losers see thunderstorms. Winners see rainbows. Losers take chances. Winners make choices. It's all in the way you choose to think.
Outside the parking lot. Dreary, cold morning. Miami Fitness here. Why did I bring that up? Because it's up to the individual to allow the dreariness to set inside. Do we worry about external factors, or do we worry about what's inside of ourselves? Those two different things are the two measures of confidence, positive and negative confidence. And negative confidence is an egocentric person. Bases all their performance trying to achieve third parties' agreeability, their likeness, their thumbs up, because we value their opinion. Those kind of people allow this mood and weather and everything to set in to dictate their performance of the day. There's also another side, the positive side of confidence, starts from within. That's called pride. That doesn't value rain, sun, if there's someone in the corner looking at them, if it's 5 in the morning, 5 in the afternoon, that pride is always awake.
To look at any great performer, one thing that makes them great is their grit. One thing that makes them great is their hunger to practice. One thing that makes them great is they are willing to sacrifice. I mean, yes, they're passionate, but did you know the root of the word passion is suffering? You've got to be willing to suffer for your vision. You've got to be willing to suffer to reach BIW, best in world. You've got to be willing to suffer the ridicule and laughter of your critics and your cynics to get to a place called world class.
Greatness is not this wonderful, esoteric, elusive, God-like feature that only the special among us will ever taste. It's something that truly exists in all of us. It's very simple. This is what I believe, and I'm willing to die for it.
You might have sore legs, sore back, sore shoulder. So, the struggle is real. It never gets any easier. You gotta get harder. No one cares what you did yesterday. It only matters what you're doing today.
Following your dreams is a lonely, solitary, scary, dangerous pursuit. You can't wait for somebody to think you can do it. And it's like, because they don't think you can do nothing they can't do. It's like, it's a lonely, scary, dangerous pursuit. And as much as you want to be able to listen a little bit, because somebody's going to give you a gem, but nobody knows but you. You can't get advice on what you should do with your life, right? Nobody knows what you are. Like even sometimes you don't really even know what you are. You got to take your shot. And it's like, as much as you want people to agree and you want the people around you to be supporting your dreams and all, it's not going to be like that all the time. You got to do it alone.
You have to have a contract with yourself of what greatness looks like, what winning looks like, what success to you is. And that contract is non-negotiable. It is literally non-negotiable.
The fruit of everything good in life begins with a challenge. Everything is uphill that's worthwhile.
You know, one way of looking at unhappiness is people who are, in one way or another, in a tunnel. They say, the only way to live is this way. They're not happy with it, but it seems the only way. I've got to love this person, though it's not making me happy. I've got to do this job, though it's a prison. I've got to live in this place, though I don't like it. You know, we can unpick some of those things and say, really? Is that absolutely necessary? Human beings are brilliant at building themselves cages and throwing away the key.
We are built to constantly compare ourselves to other people. We're always thinking of what the other person has and how we are in relation to them. Are we getting as much attention as that other person? This started off when we were children. Are we getting more attention than our siblings from our parents? So we're continually comparing ourselves in rank and power and status to the people around us.
For the most part, our thinking is born of obsession and usually wrapped up in a whole lot of junk from the outside, past things that we project into the future, stuff we saw on TV, stuff that we heard on the internet, something that somebody said to us. Most of our thinking is not serving us because it doesn't come from stillness. It's a form of activity, not action.
I want them to come up against the point where they're going to give up, quit. And they're going to sit there and nobody else is giving up and quitting. And they're going to go all in more, and they're going to start believing that there's something on the other side of that emotion. They're going to believe that there's something past the story of their past because they're stretching themselves out of the known. And it takes a tremendous amount of awareness, repetition, information, model building, sharing, understanding, experiencing to finally have a person get to the point where they just let go.
You better be real careful with the words that you tell yourself, because that right there, how you view yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you look in the mirror, and how you perceive yourself, that's the same way you're going to see the world, the same way you're going to talk to the world, and the same thing you're going to get out of the world. So you better be real careful on the story you tell yourself on how you feel about yourself. Otherwise, what are you going to expect?
The origin of wisdom, according to the Greeks, was know thyself, right? And I believe that very firmly, that knowledge about who you are is an end in itself and will help you in so many ways become that human being that I think we all have the potential to become.
The first and most important thing is that you have to understand that if 95% of who you are is a set of unconscious programs, then the first step is lighting a match in a dark place. If you want to become someone else, you got to become aware of who you are.
How you can change your circumstances by changing your attitude. Your attitude towards life will determine what you get. If you're avoidant and hostile towards people, a hostile person will tend to create hostility around him.
Revelation is very clear. Revelation is very eminent. Revelation is what's being revealed to you, what's right in front of your eyes. If only you stop thinking
But I told myself, the guy that hires me is gonna be proud he picked me. So what do you gotta do? You gotta show up every day. And what happened is I was on this path. Here's that path right there. It just glows. And all of a sudden, people start jumping off the path over time. Kids, drugs, failure, it doesn't matter, excuses, I don't care what it is. But if you stay on that path and people are jumping off, you show up and guess what happens? You become the oldest guy on the team.
I think that you don't suffer less, you suffer differently. And the most important thing is if you're not alone. Probably the most difficult thing in all our experiences, and certainly in the experience of pain or loss or suffering or ache, is not to be alone.
Each time I feel anger at my sibling or my mother or friend for saying something that I misinterpreted, I go, that's your ego speaking. These people weren't saying something that was personal. You just have your ego, which is always getting in your way. Question it.
You see, the moment your life will change is the moment that you turn your reasons of why you can't into your reasons of why you can.
You learn to love yourself in the context of your relationships with others. It's interactive. You need a good amount of self-awareness, but you also need to be in relationships because it's people who help you become more aware.
It's simple. Knowledge, experience, wisdom. Philosophy, initiate that philosophy, master it. Mind, body, soul. Thinking, doing, being. Learning with your head, applying it with your hands, knowing it by heart. And this is the journey of knowledge, because when you learn that information and you really study it, you are going to begin to see the world differently because your brain is changing.
Imperfection stalks us. I don't think we will ever overcome it. And indeed, the quest to be immortal, to be free of blemishes, to be always correct, to say and feel always the appropriate thing, is in itself a form of madness and wrongness. And I think that we best accommodate ourselves to the conditions of life by accepting in an a priori way that we are flawed, those around us will be flawed, we will make errors, those around us will make errors. We are largely in the dark, therefore we need to go easy on ourselves and be generous towards others.
If I could stay connected to the emotions of my future all day long, there's no way I would be looking for when it would be happening. How could I look for when it would be happening if I feel like it's happening? I wouldn't look anymore, which means I wouldn't be separate from it. And that's when you start creating magic.
So that somebody else tells you, I too have gone through this. That's why we read books that inspire us from other people who had also lost and found their way back and saw the light again, and they created new hope and reconnected with someone and allowed themselves to love again and have another child and start another business, whatever it is. You know, so you go through it, but you have a sense that there is that thing called going through it, and that you can come out of it on the other side, that there is hope.
You want to love life. You want to love fate. And what fate means, things happen to you can't control. You didn't control who your parents are. You didn't control what city you were born into, what school you went into. You didn't control whether you were born rich or poor, right? There's much you can't control, that's fate. Accept it for what it is. Stop whining and stop going, I want something else. Embrace your world, your life. Our fear of death is probably the greatest influence on our behavior.
Revelation is literally like, it's not something very mystical. It's look at what's right in front of you. Most of the times, if there's a crisis, if we just stop, sit, and open our eyes, the path is revealed right in front of us.
Become obsessed with improving yourself. There's something about self-improvement that has a bad reputation. People throw around the term, and it sounds nice in theory, like something you'd aspire to in the abstract. But when it comes to the daily grind, to the work it takes to improve yourself, not just once, but consistently. It's easy to get distracted, to push it aside, to think there's always tomorrow. But here's the truth. If you want to be the best version of yourself, you need to become obsessed with it. Obsessed with growth, obsessed with learning, obsessed with the constant drive to push yourself further, harder, and beyond what you thought was possible. It's not enough to casually want to improve. It's not enough to tell yourself, I'll work on myself when I have time. Because you never will. Time doesn't wait. The competition doesn't wait. The world doesn't wait. If you're not obsessed with improving yourself, you're going to get left behind. Obsession isn't a negative word. Let's redefine obsession for a moment. We often think of obsession as unhealthy or out of balance. We associate it with fixation, with an inability to stop thinking about something or someone to the point where it becomes all-consuming and disruptive. But that's not the obsession I'm talking about. The obsession I'm talking about is a focused, relentless, and powerful commitment to growth. It's an addiction to getting better every single day. And this type of obsession, it's a positive force. It drives you, motivates you, and transforms you into the person you're meant to be. The price of mediocrity. When you're not obsessed with becoming better, you settle for mediocrity. You accept the status quo. You let the days pass, feeling like you're doing enough, but never truly pushing your boundaries. But there's a cost to this. You might be comfortable. You might be content. But contentment is a dangerous thing when it comes to growth. It's a silent killer of progress. Because while you're comfortably going through the motions, someone else out there is grinding. Someone else is obsessed with learning, with refining, with becoming the absolute best at what they do. And here's the kicker, that someone will be the one who takes your place. They'll be the one who steps into opportunities, who builds the empire, who becomes the version of themselves you only dreamed of being. This isn't a scare tactic. This is a reality check. If you're not obsessed with improving yourself, you're letting time slip away. You're letting opportunities pass by without taking advantage of them. And in the end, it's not about what you were capable of, it's about what you actually did. The key is this: you can't just want it. You can't just be mildly interested. You have to be relentless. Every hour you dedicate, every minute you spend improving, every time you push yourself past your limits is a step closer to mastery. It's easy to look at someone who's achieved greatness and think, they must have had it easier. But the truth is, those who are exceptional didn't get there by accident. They got there by becoming obsessed with their own improvement. Fueling the obsession. So, how do you get obsessed with improving yourself? How do you make it a part of who you are, not just something you try for a while and then quit? It starts by making growth a lifestyle, not a phase. You need to make it your default. Your obsession becomes your compass. It's what wakes you up early, keeps you up late, and pushes you through challenges. It's what keeps you committed to the process when others are giving up, when things get hard, and when it seems like the reward is too far off. The power of small wins. It's easy to think that obsession means going all in from day one. But the reality is, obsession isn't just about big, dramatic actions. It's about consistency and small wins that build up over time. Each small victory compounds. Each new lesson learned adds another layer to your foundation. The obsession is in the little things, the daily habits, the attention to detail, the unwavering commitment to getting 1% better every single day. This is how champions are made, through the repetition of small actions, repeated with precision and passion. It's the obsession that drives the action, and it's the action that creates momentum. Turning obsession into legacy. When you're obsessed with improving yourself, it doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of everyone around you. Obsession creates ripple effects. As you grow, as you get better, as you rise higher, you inspire those around you to do the same. You become an example of what's possible, of what relentless effort can accomplish, and eventually, your obsession will turn into legacy. You'll leave behind a trail of impact, of people whose lives you've touched, of goals you've crushed, and of achievements that others will look up to for years to come. Becoming obsessed with improving yourself is not about reaching some distant finish line. It's about the pursuit. It's about the constant striving to be better than you were yesterday. It's about never being satisfied, never settling, and always looking for ways to grow. Because the journey, the obsession, is the reward. The version of yourself you're becoming is the greatest gift you can give to the world. So, become obsessed. Go after it with everything you've got. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for someone else to tell you it's time. The time is now. And if you stay obsessed with your growth, the world will never be the same.
You only need 3 things to win. The balls to start, the brains to learn, and the heart to never give up. And the best thing is, you already have all 3.
Be f***ing fearless. Be f***ing fearless.
Losses have a way of turning you into bosses. You've got to experience it. The ups and downs of life are not like teeter-totters. It's not you're winning or you're losing, it's you're learning or you're growing. You learn so that you can grow. Every time you have a setback, it's a setup to find out what's within you. If you don't have the will to go through a loss, you will never have the ability to handle the wins.
Go out there and fail. Go out there and fail miserably, but achieve failure. Achieve failure. If you can do that, you can also win. And all winners have failed.
At the beginning of the year, a lot of you had goals, ambition, a lot of drive, a lot of motivation. A lot of you aren't proud of who you are. You don't like the person you created. Do what I did. Start from scratch. Create somebody that you're proud of. It's that hard.
It's a traumatic thing for your friends and family to think you're a piece of shit, and to think you're a failure, and to think you're when you're struggling your ass off to try to build shit, bro. That's a traumatic thing. You're like, nobody's here for me. And it's a very real lesson in life, because guess what? Nobody is here for you. And that's the biggest mistake a lot of you guys make, is assuming that they are. There's nobody here for you. You have to put this on your back and carry it. And if you don't, you will not get them. That's the bottom line.
You need to do something, you do it anyways. You don't do it because you're motivated, you do it because you're disciplined. You need to let discipline be your guide, not how you feel. You impose discipline on the situation and you do what you're supposed to do. You don't feel like working out, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you don't feel like working out, it doesn't matter. It's not part of the calculation. Discipline overrides that.
Unchosen suffering is going to happen in life. Your parents are going to pass away, loved ones are going to die, your relationships are going to break down, your body is going to fail you, you're going to become ill or sick or destitute. Things are going to happen that you have no control over. And the only way that you can prepare yourself for unchosen suffering is with chosen suffering. You can elect to put yourself into a position to become a stronger alloy of whatever the metal is that you're made of. And by purposefully choosing difficult things, you will armor yourself against that situation. It's still gonna suck, but think about how much more fragile you would be if you hadn't overcome all of this stuff.
Do you know the difference between champions and everyone else? And I was like, what? He said, everyone always looks at them and says, what do champions have that I don't have? And he said, they have it backwards. He said, it's, what do champions not have that I have? It's, what do they lack? And it's an off button. They just don't stop. And so in dealing with the gold medalist, he's like, they just never stop. They just can't stop. Everything in their life is geared towards one goal. And they approach everything in their life that way. And I think that that level of obsession around like everything that you touch on a daily basis is required for really getting to where you want to go.
born risk takers. Free. Takes guts. Takes goals. But you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. Then seize this very minute what you can do, or even dream you can do, and begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Only engage and the mind will grow heated. Begin and the work will be completed.
You're the closest to getting what you want is always the hardest. People give up right before they get what they've always wanted to get. People quit and they give up. And I will not be the person who quit before I got what I wanted.
Everybody wants the view, but very few want the climb. Long days, early mornings, things that make you question if it's all worth it. But this is what you signed up for. Struggle is what separates those who talk about it from those who are about it. Every setback is proof that you're chasing what most people give up on. Stop complaining about the grind, because you can't get to the top if you're not willing to get your hands dirty along the way.
Right, commitment. Can I stay true to what I said I would do, long after the mood that I've set it in has left? Can I stay true to what I said I would do, long after the mood that I've set it in has left?
Fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And so it looks like this ocean that you're going to step into and drown. But as soon as you step into it, you realize it was not that deep at all, and you can keep walking through it. If you actually take the step and realize that it's not death, you're not going to drown immediately. There's plenty of other steps you can take from there, even if you get a little wet.
We start making promises to ourselves about, hey, I'm gonna lose some weight, I'm gonna do better in school, I'm gonna be better here, be better there. But guess what happens? Now all those endorphins are gone. All of that noise is gone, it's quiet. And it's you against you. And I promise you, man, about getting up early and getting after to go lose weight, study harder, guess what? It's a lot harder now. That repetition becomes a lot harder now. So a lot of us can't do things on our own. So find somebody in your life. So when you throw that towel in, they throw it back at you and say you're not done yet.
To question everything, to question your religion, to question your societal rules, to question the idea of a college degree. But that's how I feel all of us should be living life, by questioning everything. And I don't mean being skeptical of everything, there's a difference. I mean healthy skepticism, ultimately questioning the rules of the culturescape so we can stay true to our own inner identity.
This is a time of incredible unrest. We've got social unrest for all of the injustice that has been out there for so many years. We've also got financial crisis, which I believe is going to get much worse, including an environmental catastrophe in the making. So, with that context, I think one of the most important things a human being can do is press the pause button each morning while the rest of the world is asleep and ask yourself, how can I fortify my mindset? How can I insulate my heart set? How can I optimize my health set? How can I escalate my soul set, the four interior empires, so that when I walk out in the world, I'm creative, I'm productive, I'm compassionate, I radiate positivity, and I have resilience in case I get knocked down.
As you took your incarnation, you knew the turbulence you would be facing during this Renaissance period in our human history. But you're in a Renaissance period right now where the old is rising up to die off and the new is emerging. Something you knew you would be in this Renaissance period, and you know somewhere within you that you did not come to conform to the present paradigm. As a matter of fact, the opposite of courage is conformity to an old paradigm. That is the opposite of courage. You have come to break the chains and anything that binds us to the present paradigm so that the new can emerge. Come at this time in human history to not walk lockstep, but to begin to vision and see what we could be.
But, you know, if you look at the greatest women and men who have ever graced the planet, these were so-called ordinary people who just set up their lives in such a way that their native gifts saw the light of day. All it takes is that one person who coincidentally shows up in our life, and maybe it's a book, maybe it's a podcast episode, to introduce us to a new frame of reference and a new way of living. Martin Luther King Jr. said, if you have not discovered something you're willing to die for, you're not fit for it. And I believe we all need to find our mighty mission and our crusade.
What many people don't realize about the world is that growth is a goal in itself. It's one of the key things that drive us forward as human beings, but very few people write down growth as goals. How can I give back to the world? There's a very important reason for that question. If you want to be happy, make other people happy. And I believe that when you do these three most important questions, that third category is what truly leads to fulfillment.
You have to push yourself long past the point of boredom. Boredom kills more people in the pursuit of success than any hater will ever kill.
Did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? If you wake up every day with a super clear intention and reverence for life, realizing how short it is, you absolutely get your act together. People take an eye-opening experience and some don't do anything with it, and some people grow from it. Your life doesn't end up an accident. Your life is a series of actions that you initiate or don't initiate. And that your thoughts are going to control that roadmap. And so how are you using your mind today to either make yourself feel great or not? Everyone watching this already made a decision this morning. This morning, they made it a life-changing, huge decision this morning. And that is either I'm going to get up, enter the world with no intention, go through the motions to hopefully get by or survive, or I am going to get clear in this morning about what I want, what I'm going after, who I'm going to be, how I'm going to serve, and whether or not I'm going to be excellent and extraordinary or not. And the problem is most people never make that conscious decision. Like, what is it now for you about how you want to define yourself? What types of relationships you want and how deep you want to go? What is it that you want to develop as skill sets? Because a lot of people, the reason they hate self-audits and they hate self-evaluation because it feels bad, but they're letting it feel bad. Instead, it's like, how do I perceive this and think through instead what my real intention should be? The world completely underestimates the power of visualization, completely misutilizes the human power of contemplation.
Now, building yourself begins with intention, clarity. You have to know who you want to become. You can't just show up in the gym of the mind and do random stuff any more than you can show up in the gym of the body and do random stuff and think that you're going to end up on the stage competing for Mr. Olympia. It doesn't work like that. All of the different things that go into getting great at any sport, all of those things must be learned with calculation. They must be practiced and rehearsed over and over and over. You have to push yourself long past the point of boredom. Boredom kills more people in the pursuit of success than any hater will ever kill. Boredom is the great killer of dreams. Boredom. Because people don't have the focus, they don't have the clarity of what they're trying to achieve. They've not built into their life an intoxication for what they're trying to accomplish. And there's 1,000 voices in your mind telling you all the reasons why it's somebody else's fault and it's not your fault. But the reality is, the moment you do that, you're giving away your power because you're not looking for a way to change. You're not looking for a way to shape your skill set. Remember, between where you are and where you want to go, it is a gap of skill set. But if you really want to become extraordinary, You've got to separate your self-esteem from being wrong. You have to. Because otherwise you're never going to see the opportunity to get better.
Who's in control? Is the overwhelm in control, or are you in control? Are all these different situations making you feel something, or are you allowing yourself to interpret something to make it that?
It does not matter who you are today. The only thing that matters is who you want to become and the price you're willing to pay to get there.
And only in service can we be happy. And that's us on a consciousness level. That's the identity of consciousness. Like water is wet, the sun is heating and light. Consciousness is service.
I think the idea of goal setting in the Western world is rubbish. Because here's what happened. You are basically encouraging people to set goals based on that same culturescape with its restricting rules. So people set goals along the lines of this. Okay, we need to get good grades so I can graduate high school, so I can get into a good college, need to study hard to get a good GPA. Why are kids going into these professions where they end up in a job that they thought was a good goal at one point, only to find themselves absolutely miserable? It's because these goals aren't coming from inside us. They're coming from the culturescape. And the culturescape is basically a safety net mechanism.
We stumble before we walk, and then on shaky legs, we embrace the new habit. And that's the very nature of personal transformation. I mean, every master was once a beginner, every professional was once an amateur. And I think, we live in a world of easy. We want the easy morning routine versus the morning routine that'll give us the greatest payoff. And there's a reason that a lot of the great saints, sages, poets, military leaders, world changers got up at 5 a.m. and before the sun. I think it's the quietest time of the day.
The reason is, the main deep, or the main Vedic reason is that we've been created that way because that's our nature and that's what makes us most happy. Because this whole world is almost a school, an education system to make us realize that one truth. And we see that when we're serving, when we're doing that, we feel genuine happiness. But when we're trying to gain and greed and power and strength, we even feel empty as it slips through our fingers.
So what I advocate is, and the three most important question is, forget the means goals. Means goals are goals designed by the culturescape. Instead, go straight to the end goals. First question you ask yourself to identify your end goals is, what experiences do I want to have in life? The beautiful thing about experiences is, often, they don't require that much money. It's crazy, we associate money with happiness, but often, the most beautiful experiences in life require no money.
That we're wired for generosity, we're wired to serve, to make us realize that that's our real nature, that's our greatest self-awareness.
Start off with gratitude, thanksgiving, and appreciation. We start off with, I got cargo. We start off with, I got gift. We start off with, everything that the universe is within me already. We start off with, I am and I have. That's the premise. That's the starting point. I've got a great destiny. Even if you don't know what it is right now, I've got a great destiny.
COVID right now, may we give ourselves permission to be gentle with ourselves. So that's how we live our days as human beings. I mean, I'll get up and sometimes there's a current, like you said, a child who kept you up at night, or it's the pandemic, so maybe you're worried, or maybe you've lost a job. And so those currents will take us off course. And so our job is just to steer back on course each day. We're not perfect human beings.
I see people who are only in it for themselves, and they feel disconnected, dissatisfied every single day. Attachment and aversion, two sides of the same coin. So we want to be in that dynamic balance of growth, but always to give. So I always think, how can I go 3 steps deeper so that I can move 3 steps forward so I can give 3 tons as much?
You ask yourself this question. For me to be the man or woman who has all of these experiences, how do I have to grow? And here we come to the second list. See, I believe we are souls having a human experience here on planet Earth. But these souls are not just here to explore all of these wonderful things about being human. I believe as souls, as human beings, we crave growth. Human beings are growth-driven machines.
We all have the ability as human beings to arrive at our own original form of greatness. We have not been schooled, we have not been taught, a lot of us have not been mentored on the mindsets, hard sets, routines, rituals that will create and allow us to live our personal genius.
Pick up your damn suffering and bear it. And try to be a good person so you don't make it worse. Get yourself together. Transcend your suffering. See if you can be some kind of hero. Make the suffering in the world less.
Why pay the price? Why work this hard? Why go this far? Work on your list of whys. If the why is powerful, the how is easy.
To live a life in alignment. And what that means is that you live a life where what you think, what you say, and what you do are aligned with your truest self. And what I mean by your truest self is the self that was not given to you by your parents, or by your education, or by media or movies, or not the self that you've created to function in the world.
Each and every one of you, at some point in your life, you are going to hit rock bottom. The question isn't, will you hit rock bottom? The question is, what are you going to do with yourself when it happens? Many people start, but few endure. It's not interesting whether or not you guys have a dream. I don't care if you have a dream. I am so uninterested in empty dreamers, I can't see straight. What I care about, do you have the fortitude to fail? And what do you learn from that failure? Do you get back up? Do you keep going? Do you force yourself to recognize that this is a question of adaptation? You simply have not done to yourself what you need to do in order to be good enough to succeed.
Everyone feels at times that we're our biggest bully, because we will always have someone saying something negative, but it's when we walk away, do we believe it? Do we let those voices echo in our mind when no one's watching? And that's when I realized I'm either my biggest encourager or my biggest discourager, and that's where attitude comes in. You know, you have people in your life where they'll keep on beating you down, but if you keep on coming back up, they won't keep you down.
It really is that simple. Once you accept that the thing that separates you from the rest of the animal kingdom is an unimaginable ability to become. You have an unimaginable ability to become something. This is going to be in service of something that I can believe in. This is going to be something that makes me feel alive. This is going to be something that I'm passionate about. It's going to be something that I actually feel like I'm contributing to the world, that I would be willing to do all of that with a smile on my face. And I said, the only question I will ever ask again is this: what would I do and love every day, even if I was failing?
It's passion plus strength plus compassion equals purpose. A purpose is like an adult, passion is like a teenager, interest is like a child, and curiosity is the womb. So the birthplace of passion is actually curiosity and interest. And I think we waste so much time trying to be like, what am I really passionate about? What do I really believe in? But the thing you can start with right now is the simplest form of, what am I curious about?
People who can unchain themselves of the past are the most happiest. And those people who actually intentionally practice an attitude of gratitude, that we must understand the crux of every cloud or funk or curveball or depression or whatever you want to call it. It comes back to, who am I and why am I here? Your value is not determined on your past. Your future is up to you today. You loving yourself, embracing yourself, not judging yourself, being able to forgive. It's not to say that everything's possible. It's not to say that everything's smooth. No, we all go through ups and downs. But I needed to get out of my own way to reach my full potential.
I think the two things that we're all working towards is a sense of peace and a sense of purpose. Peace is for yourself and purpose is for the world. And I think we all exist in both places. And I think where we go wrong is that we try to live life in an either or. Actually embracing polarities. It's actually about doing a dance and knowing which way to go at the right time. So I believe as much in strategy as I do in sincerity. And I believe in much as generosity as I do in generating value for myself. And I believe as much in giving as I do in growing. And I think as soon as you start to say, no, it's either or, you have to choose, I think that's where we start to lose a part of ourselves.
Because loneliness is not about a lack of company. It is the inner sense of disconnection with everything around you. You are disconnected with everything around you because you are engrossed with yourself. Suffering exists only when you're obsessing about yourself. If there's no obsession within oneself, then there's no suffering.
I really believe that you have to seek the love and the beauty that you want in what you have now. Because that way you're training yourself to extract meaning right now.
Your life's challenges, the rejections, the failures, it is sitting on you. It is sitting on you. You feel uncomfortable in your own skin. You do not have a vision for the future. You do not have a purpose for your life. Towards success, towards having a beautiful relationship, towards creating abundance in your life or prosperity is move into connection. And what is stopping you from connection is your habit of constantly being preoccupied with your past.
The most important thing is your mind. Make no mistake about that. Right now, the only thing that is holding you back, I promise you, and whatever excuse you're telling yourself, it's shit. The only thing that's holding you back is the way that you think about yourself in the world. That's it. Flat. You have not built the mechanisms in your mind that you need to free yourself from the matrix. Do and believe that which moves you towards your goals.